Happy Wednesday, everybody. Welcome to the show. This is the Rich Report, bringing you the richest content in all of sports and entertainment. My name is David Church, taking over the intro for our beautiful Cameron Richardson over here. We got Johnny Crane and Sean Clark joining us on the show. We got a little four-person action for this Wednesday afternoon show for you guys. How's everyone doing today? Cam, how are you?
Bleh.
All right, then.
I'm
Johnny,
just here so I don't get fined.
Okay, Johnny, how are you doing? Let's move on.
I'm doing fine. It's hump day. Payday is almost upon us. I know y'all three started school. I'm still sitting over here in Montrose, searching the job market. But,
Had to bring up school.
I'm sorry. When 75% of this show is run by NAU students, okay, I have to state the obvious, and that's the obvious. But nevertheless, I'm doing fine. More sports equals more fun. So, hey, let's get into it.
John, how are you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great. We had an epic 5 overtime hockey game yesterday, which was great, and Champions League is on, so I have nothing to complain about right now.
You're definitely right about that. So let's get right into it with the Blue Jackets and the Lightning. 5 overtime periods. Absolutely insane action. Lightning pulling it away in the 5th and final overtime to send them with a Game 1 win. Huge game on that one. Absolutely crazy performances. Sean, what are your thoughts on the overtime action that we saw between the Blue Jackets and Lightning in this Game 1 series?
It was absolutely crazy. It was the 4th longest game in NHL history. And I'll have to tell you what, Joonas Korpisalo should already have a statue being built of him right now. This guy had 85 saves in one game. 85. That is absolutely absurd. It is the most saves of any goalkeeper in NHL playoff history. Unfortunately, when it comes down to it, the Columbus Blue Jackets simply did not have enough to beat the Lightning in overtime. The Lightning were relentless the entire overtime. Korpisalo was basically left to hold off endless hordes of Lightning attackers, and Columbus barely got any chances the 5 overtimes. Lightning just simply had too much. The Lightning were going to win eventually. It was inevitable the way the game was going, and that's what they did. And for the Lightning, this is sweet revenge, partly. They still have to finish off Columbus in the best-of-7 series, but Columbus swept Tampa Bay last year in one of the most historic upsets in NHL history. This is a good way to start getting revenge. Beat them in 5 overtime. If you lose a 5 overtime game, that's going to really drain you. That's going to really stink. So, beating the Blue Jackets in 5 overtimes is a great step toward revenge for the Tampa Bay Lightning. It was an absolutely amazing game. I am very thankful that I was able to watch it.
Yeah, especially since last year they got swept by Columbus in the opening round of the Stanley Cup playoffs. So it's a good retribution for them to get a good starting point in this 2020 crazy Stanley Cup season where there's obviously no fans because of COVID, but it's a great performance for them. Johnny, your thoughts on that overtime finish?
Well, like you said, Sean, it's sweet revenge to start, but also this is sort of the beginning of potentially changing the stereotype of the Tampa Bay Lightning. When you look at the Tampa Bay Lightning over the past few years, they've had really stacked rosters, very youthful rosters, very highly oriented in offense rosters, but they still have not come away with the coveted Stanley Cup yet. And I think when you look at them, say the Washington Nationals, who also had the reputation of having really good regular seasons, but they haven't been able to cash in during the postseason. When we look at this from the Lightning perspective, yes, it's only one game, and yes, it is against the team that swept them out of last year's playoffs. And even though it's only one game in a 7-game series, that's a huge win. And I think what this really shows, and this is why I really love Tampa Bay in this postseason and in this matchup this year, like you said, Sean, Columbus had numerous opportunities. It was 5 overtimes. The Calgary Flames and Dallas Stars started their game after this game started, and they still finished before this game was over. And during that time, Columbus, they got some nice opportunities, but they weren't able to cash in. And when you look at Tampa Bay, they really weren't able to cash in either, but their depth prevailed. And their depth prevailed despite the fact that they're without their captain in Steven Stamkos. If they can get Stamkos back, their offense becomes that much more lethal. But even still, adversity is key in the Stanley Cup playoffs. And if you can get adversity and get really good adversity to win you games, then that's a really good sign. And Tampa Bay already started that journey to not only potentially winning a cup, but changing their reputation as an NHL playoff team over the past few years. So good win overall.
Cameron, got anything?
All the momentum is out of Columbus. It's all in Tampa Bay's hands right now. I mean, Columbus, that net is now trying to fit a square peg in a round hole pretty much for the rest of the series. I mean, there's no confidence anymore that you can get a goal. But shout out to Seth Jones and Zach Werenski, both playing getting over 60 minutes of ice time. So definitely no practice for them, at least today, because, I mean, you played over a full game. I mean, on paper, that's no breaks plus 5 extra minutes. So it's still gonna be a good series, but right now, unless Lightning just have an awful game too, I mean, the series is in their hand, and it's up to them to close it out now, pretty much.
Yeah,
And when you look at
go ahead, Johnny.
and when you
relax. Go for
and when
it.
you look at Jonas Corposalo, I really love Jonas Corposalo. I think he really has solidified himself when he's healthy as an easy top 5 goaltender in the league. He had 85 saves, and a goaltender takes a lot of beating in the regular season, let alone the postseason. And even though they have an off day off, it's going to be very interesting to see who they go with goaltender-wise in Game 2, considering the fact that Elvis Merzlikins, their other top-notch goaltender, has been nursing a little bit of some injury issues that he suffered in the infamous breakdown game against the Maple Leafs. So will Korpisalo get the call for Game 2? Even with an off day, he's still going to be feeling a lot of the pain in that game that we just saw. So it'll be a very interesting matchup-wise and roster construction-wise for Columbus, not only in the goaltender spot, but in the overall lines and in the blue line duos that Columbus has.
Expect some more craziness coming out of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Only Game 1, so we don't even know what's left ahead for us. So the rest of the comp with the game. So let's move on to some football, some Champions League competition. Boys, take it away, because I'm going to take myself out of this one.
All right, Sean, it's all you.
All right, so we are now in the Champions League quarterfinals. Now, unlike previous years, this Champions League quarterfinals, it's only one match. You have to win it or you're done. And it creates a very interesting dynamic where we've seen a lot of comebacks in the last few years in the second leg. Last year, Barcelona was up 3-0 on Liverpool heading into the second leg. And then what happened? In the second leg, Liverpool defeated Barcelona 4-0, and they advanced to the Champions League finals where they ended up winning. It's one match. So that means that you have to go all out in the first league. It's just like the NFL playoffs. You have to go all out in each game you play or else you're done. Right now, PSG is taking on Atalanta. Now, Atalanta, this is the first time they've ever been in the Champions League knockout round. They defeated Valencia 8-4 on aggregate in the round of 16. And they're playing PSG right now. And here's the thing. They're actually winning over PSG, which not many people expected. Neymar's had a lot of great chances for PSG, but he has missed them badly. Pulisic, who actually was a loan player for Chelsea for 6 years, because Chelsea is notorious for loaning a bunch of players out. He scored on an amazing curler to give Atalanta a 1-0 lead. So if Atalanta can hold this 1-0 lead, they will pull off a shocker and advance to the Champions League semifinals. And when you look at the other matches, Man City plays Lyon. They should be able to take care of business there. Atletico Madrid plays Leipzig. Leipzig will not be without their best player, Timo Werner, because he is settling in at Chelsea. So I expect Atletico Madrid to advance there. But on Saturday, we have the juiciest matchup of the quarterfinals, which is Barcelona versus Bayern Munich. Bayern Munich, this is a cycle every single year. They dominate their group stage in the Champions League. In the round of 16, they usually dominate a London club, which could be Tottenham, could be Chelsea this year, could be Arsenal. They have wrecked Arsenal many times in the past, which I hate saying it, but it's true. And then after that, it looks like Bayern's going to dominate. And this has been the case in 2014. They get deep into the Champions League, then they lose to a Spanish club. It happens every year. It happens just about every single year. Well, guess what? They're playing a Spanish club in Barcelona. In 2015, Lionel Messi made Jerome Boateng and the Bayern defense look silly on the way to Barcelona's 2015 Champions League title. Now, Bayern is a much better team than Barcelona. I expect them to advance. But when you are playing Lionel Messi, in my opinion, the second greatest player to ever play this game behind Cristiano Ronaldo, you can never count out Barcelona out. I cannot wait for that matchup. And I'm really anxious to see if Atalanta can hold on to their lead against PSG. That's the big story right now.
Yeah, I mean, when you talk about FC Bayern, like sort of saying on the same theme of really, really, really good teams early on in the postseason, but they haven't been able to really cash in. You know, the Washington Nationals weren't able to cash in. They finally cashed in. The Tampa Bay Lightning are looking to unhold that mantra. When you look at FC Bayern, they haven't been able to cash in either. And it will be a little more difficult for them based on the fact that it is not on aggregate anymore. They can't go destroy Chelsea in 2 games. Okay, 2 matches, sorry. But it's do or die. It's 1 match, 1 game. This is your shot. If you don't do well, you're out. So, I mean, when you look at FC Bayern's roster, they have the offensive firepower, they have the speed, but can they get over that camel? Can they get over that roadblock? And, you know, in a do-or-die game, in a do-or-die match, it'll be a little more difficult because you see a little more parity in matches such as this because of that postseason what's the word I'm thinking of? Postseason, whatever. You know what I'm trying to say, okay? Anyway, yeah, hey, get out of there, okay? Go think of ice dancing or something. Anyway, FC Bayern, you know, they have that camel on their back. They have that reputation that's sort of a little bit negative against them. And can they get over that Spanish club camel on their back? Can they get over that? They have the speed, they have the firepower, they have the depth. Can they finally cash in? That'll be the question. It'll be difficult because of the format, but we'll see what happens. That's what I was trying to say, David, okay?
And I think when you look at a match like Man City and Lyon, although Man City's backline isn't great, Lyon is not a very high-scoring club. If you look at their Champions League matches, from what I saw, only one of their matches, and it took place in the group stage, they scored 3 goals. So as long as Man City can be the high-octane, high-attack club that they are, then they should be able to take care of business against Lyon. Barcelona, Bayern, I mean, it's a coin toss. I don't see one favoring over the other, although Bayern does have their moments, and we know a team led by Robert Lewandowski can do, and the results have not been good. If you look at any of Poland's results in major international matches, their last World Cup run was a total train wreck. So, I mean, I would not doubt Barcelona just running away with that one. And then the others, I just look at and go, I mean, Atletico has names, but you know, they don't just jump off. It's a very odd Champions League quarterfinals. There's not, outside of Barcelona and Man City, these clubs just don't jump off like they should. It doesn't really look like the normal Champions League you're accustomed to seeing.
Just hoping that David Beckham has a great performance. All right, moving
on.
And
remember, hold on real quick. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, everybody out there watching this, corruption prevails. That's all I have to say.
Anyways, we're going to move on to the NBA, where the Portland Trailblazers and the Phoenix Suns are absolutely running rumshot on the entire NBA right now. Damian Lillard, huge game last night against the Mavs. They needed to win that game in order to secure that 8 seed and take full advantage of that 8 seed and have the upper hand against the potential 9 seed. And Dame went off 61 points. Absolute incredibleness. Him and Skip Bayless are still going at it. It's the greatest thing ever. And then there's the Phoenix Suns as well. It's between right now, the Trailblazers got the 8 seed. Grizzlies bumped to 9. We have the Suns, I think, next, and then the Spurs. But the big topics right now are going to be the Blazers and the Suns. Everyone wants to see it. Blazers versus Suns for that final 8 seed to try and get the right to face the Lakers. And I have a serious feeling that LeBron does not want to see a charged-up Damian Lillard in a first-round in Western Conference matchup, because Damian Lillard is on an absolute tear, and he is on a mission to get his team to a serious playoff spot. And the same thing can be said about the Suns. Devin Booker's had an incredible year, an incredible time in the bubble. And it's the entire Suns team as well. Still, the only undefeated team there so far, 7-0. An amazing accomplishment for them. They're going to have to go and win against the Mavs on Thursday to make sure they actually have the best chance possible and still hope for some losses. So we'll have to see what comes up. But Cameron, what are your thoughts on this Blazers and Suns matchup going on that's in the bubble in Florida right now?
This matchup needs to happen. I mean, did we all see Damian Lillard, that 1 3-pointer he shot from pretty much the half-court line, bounce about 20 feet up off of the rim, and then just falls back in? I mean, it's just insane what both of these teams are doing. It's only fair that they play each other for the 8th seed. We have to see it, and the Lakers should be quivering in their boots right now. They don't have the defensive firepower to stop a Damian Lillard. No one's going to take Damian Lillard one-on-one unless LeBron finally says, hey, I'm going to play defense for all 48 minutes, just not when I feel like it. So the Lakers, I think they're the ones that, regardless, they're gonna they much rather would play the Suns, because the Suns are still gonna show their youth if they do get to the playoffs. But if they get Portland, and if you get a lineup like Carmelo, Zach Collins, Nurkic, Lillard, and McCollum, if McCollum can step up, because he had his worst game, I think, in the bubble yesterday, if he's able to play the way they did, how they got to the Western Conference Finals last year, we could be looking at a potential 8-1 upset if the Trailblazers get that 8th seed. But yeah, give me Blazers Suns, please. We need Damian Lillard versus Devin Booker to fight for a playoff spot. It will be the most entertaining thing we've seen so far since sports have resumed.
Johnny, any thoughts on this one?
Oh, I thought Sean was going to jump in. I mean, look, Damian Lillard, 50-plus points in this past 2 games. No other Trailblazer in the franchise history has done that in back-to-back games. Enough said right there, okay? Now, I think when you look at it from the Lakers' perspective, they definitely want the Suns over the Blazers. When you look at it from, yes, like you said, Cameron, the Suns are more raw, they're more youthful. I mentioned that on the show on Monday. But the other thing is, I think their defense is a little more leakier than Portland. And I think if Anthony Davis and LeBron are really going to really hit and go into the paint a lot more frequently, they're much better going to be doing it against the Suns as opposed to the Blazers. No matter what, though, Suns versus Blazers are going to be really high scoring. Hopefully we get it. No offense to the Spurs and the Grizzlies. They have nice players and everything. But when you look at the overall dynamic of that offense, like you mentioned, it's just not comparable. And I think that when you get a series like that, and you get a matchup like that, you're going to see some – look, NBA games are high scoring to begin with, okay? You have the best players in college basketball all rolled into 30 NBA teams. But you're going to see that times 1,000 in a potential matchup like this. So entertainment-wise, it's great. Storyline-wise, it's great. And playoff-wise, depending on who comes out of that matchup, no matter if it's the Suns or the Blazers, the Lakers should be shaking in their boots at least a little bit for any of them. But for the Blazers especially, they definitely should be shaking, like Cameron said.
I think when it comes to the Suns and Blazers, I think they're both on par with one another when it comes to how scared the Lakers should be. Devin Booker, I'm sorry, as great as Damian Lillard has been, Lillard has had his struggles in the bubble so far. He did miss 2 very crucial free throws against the Los Angeles Clippers. Yes, he has had 2 50-point games since then. But when you look at the Devin Booker, he has scored almost 30 points every single game. Devin Booker is a man on a mission. That buzzer beater against the Clippers was one of the most cold-blooded things I have seen in sports in 2020. He just laid on the ground, just taking in how amazing his shot was. It was absolutely amazing. Here's the problem, though. I don't think this matchup is going to happen as much as both of you, as much as everybody wants to see, and here's simply why. The Grizzlies right now are the number 9 seed in the Western Conference, and here's the problem. They are going to play the Milwaukee Bucks on Thursday, and the Bucks are most likely going to rest their starters. The Bucks have wrapped up the number 1 seed. They have nothing to play for. They have nothing to gain from playing against the Memphis Grizzlies on Thursday. And Memphis has everything to play for. I've seen this in the NFL. I've seen this in Major League Baseball. If you have a team with nothing to lose versus a team that has everything to lose, the team that has nothing to lose is just going to rest their starters. It's as simple as that. It's really unfortunate. I hope that the Suns and Blazers end up winning, because that'll be the best NBA game, possibly even the entire bubble. It would just be 2 players having 50-point matchups. But realistically, I don't think it's going to happen. Let's just hope the Bucks actually play their starters and beat the Grizzlies like they should if they do.
I guess one thing you could say about a positive that came out of COVID was that we have 3 major sports organizations going on at the same time. So we got even more craziness going on all the time, every day, and it's awesome. So Phoenix Suns and Portland Trail Blazers, just do what you need to do, because give the fans what they want. Imagine a Damian Lillard versus a Devin Booker. That's absolutely nuts. So now let's move on to our final segment, which is the new segment, the Wholesome Wednesday. And we're going to keep it in the NBA with the Phoenix Suns organization deciding to introduce their players in a little different fashion. They decided to do it with the individual players' families. And it was an awesome thing to see because obviously family members are not allowed in the bubble at this time. They will be allowed, I believe, after the first round of the NBA playoffs when that gets going. But it's an awesome thing to see where it gives that team a little bit of a boost, and they definitely did it that one game against Philadelphia. Even though Philadelphia was a little bit shorthanded without Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid, they still did pretty well. And it's just a testament to show that it's a great performance and it's a great wholesome moment for these players that have been trying so hard to actually, be in this position where they want to be in, and it gives them that little bit of an extra boost in that family organization. Cam, what is going on? Are you okay, bud? Because, this is just a mess right now. I take over one show, and it all just decides to go to hell. What's going on, buddy? You all right?
Sorry. No, it's just part of the emotions.
Anyways, so anyone have any comments on this this thing that the Suns did for their players?
I think it's great. Look, when you look at everything around sports today, college football might be nicked. MLB could be nicked at any moment. The St. Louis Cardinals still haven't played yet. The Marlins had to, go through their little quarantine period. MLB could be nicked at any moment. The NHL is one outbreak away from bursting the bubble that has been pretty impregnable to start getting storylines like this, especially in a time like society is in right now. It's great. It's interactive. It keeps the players interested. And when the players are in a bubble, they can't really see their players. They can't really see their family. When you involve the family and you get them involved with the players, it creates a little more of a sense of home. When you look at it and from any other season, they can see their family anytime they want. Their family can go see them play the game. But in situations like this, that isn't really that possible as it would otherwise. So involving the family with the players, it makes the players feel a little more comfortable, a little more at ease, a little more relaxed. And when you look at everything that's tense in society, I think relaxation is what you really need. And while you're not going to get that fully, no matter what you do, it's still somewhat nice. And, it's a nice thing to do. So good for them.
That is going to do it for this Wednesday edition of the Rich Report. Thank you all for listening. If you like what you're doing, leave a like and possibly subscribe to us. It really would help us out. Share the video because you're not going to want to miss Friday's show because Friday is everybody's segment. We got Fruit Loops for y'all.
You bought Fruit Loops. Impressive.
Yes. You gotta give people what they want, and they want Fruit Loops. So we're giving them Fruit Loops on Friday. You're welcome, audience, because it's going to be a great show. For Cameron Richardson, for Johnny Crane, and for Sean Clark, thank you all for listening. We will see you Friday. Have a great rest of your day.